Good afternoon and welcome everybody. My name is Selin.
My name is Sine.
We will be moderating this literary discourse for an hour. Thank you all for being here. Today, Mr. Çelikel will give a lot of information about colonialism and post-colonialism.
Before we begin, we would like to introduce our guest, the head of English Language and Literature Department at Marmara University, dear Professor Dr. Mehmet Ali Çelikel.
Professor Dr. Mehmet Ali Çelikel graduated from Hacettepe University, Department of English Linguistics in 1993. He completed his MA in English Language and Literature at the University of Hertfordshire in England in 1997. He got his PhD with a thesis entitled The Post-Colonial Condition, the Fiction of Rushdie, Qureshi, and Roy at Liverpool University in England in 2001.
He has published 2 academic books in Turkish on post-colonial novel entitled as Sömürgecilik sonrası İngiliz romanında kültür ve kimlik, Culture and Identity in Post-Colonial English Novel in 2011, and Çağdaş İngiliz romanında küreselleşme, göç ve kültür, Globalization, Migration and Culture in Contemporary British Novel. He is currently professor at the Department of English Language and Literature, Marmara University, Turkey, and also he has countless academic articles and experiences.
And now we are inviting him to the stage for his presentation. Dear Professor Dr. Mehmet Ali Çelikel, welcome to our school.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? Okay. And I would like to thank, first of all, Gamze Hoca for inviting me to do this talk this afternoon. And I would like to thank your friends for introducing me. They speak wonderful English, and their accent is better than my accent. So I could hear the British accent in their introduction. So I hope you will be my students next year at Marmara University, okay? At the English Literature Department. So my talk is going to be about colonialism and post-colonialism. And do you know about these terms? What is colonialism? What is a colony? Yes, please.
A settlement set by an imperial power to exploit manpower or resources.
Excellent answer. Excellent answer. Any other ideas? Yeah. A colony is actually, in the beginning, it was a biological term. Have you ever heard about a colony of bees, for instance? Yes? So it was a biological term in the beginning. You see, the same group of creatures sharing the same kind of genetics were called a colony in the beginning. But then, after the 16th century, okay, the colonies began in the world in the 16th century, particularly late 15th and 16th centuries. So a colony today politically means if a government or if an empire sends his governors or soldiers or military army outside its borders and to rule those people, it's called a colony. And as your friend has just said, it is exploitation. They exploit people and they exploit the underground mines, petrol, or other types of sources in the lands outside their borders. So let me continue. Oh, I would like to explain this photograph to you. I saw this man selling something on a stick and hanging baskets on each end of the stick. I saw this man in 1997, in a very small bus terminal in a very small town. And I thought, I was really surprised because I had not seen such sellers, yogurt sellers, for a long time. I thought they were long in the past, all right? But I saw him, but he was not selling yogurt. He was selling car stereos, music systems for the cars. So this was a combination of traditional and technology, combination of technology and tradition. So it was strange. And I thought this was some kind of colony, Another form occupies a traditional form. So I started studying colonial theory. How does it work? Okay. So what is colonialism? I like maps. All right. Who is the geography teacher here? Geography teacher, is there a geography teacher? Hello, hocam. I love geography, I love geography, and I would love to study geography, So, this place, where is it? Iberia, excellent, Iberia. This is Iberian Peninsula, Iberian Peninsula. And clash of civilizations started in the 15th century. You know the clash. Clash means a conflict, a fight between them. Clash of civilizations started in the 15th century in Iberia. Samuel Huntington, a man called Samuel Huntington, wrote Clash of Civilizations in 1996. But I say that it already started 5 centuries ago, all right? From our time, it started 6 centuries ago. Because in Iberia, there was Andalusia and Granada. These countries were Arabic countries. Because the Arab empires, went to Iberia in the 10th century. 10th century. So for 5 centuries, they stayed in Iberia and established these 2 nations, Andalusia and Granada. Well, it was called Granada in Arabic. And then, for 5 centuries, they continued. But imagine, in the south of Europe, Arab powers occupied Europe. And from the eastern part of Europe, Ottoman powers, Turks, started to come to Europe until today's Austria. So Europe was stuck in between Turks in the east and Arabs in the south. So it was a small place. Europe was a small place. And they combined their powers and started fighting back against the Arabs in the south and fighting back against the Turks in the Eastern Europe. All right? They called it reconquest. Reconquest. Conquer Europe again. And after the Reconquest, European colonization started. Okay? Turks couldn't conquer Vienna. Okay? So they came back, they stopped in Hungary, and Arabs have to pull back to Africa. So Portugal and Spain were poor countries. Okay? What did they need to do? So here, you know, Gibraltar, yeah, and very narrow strait, it's called Gibraltar. And through Gibraltar, they go into Mediterranean. The Mediterranean Sea was dominated by Arab and Turkish sailors. So they could not travel to Mediterranean. So they had to travel to the South Africa along the West African coast. So European countries saw it as a civilization mission. It was a mission for them to civilize the other countries. Okay? And sailing and geography. English sail versus Arabic sail. This is the Arabic sail, all right? This is the English sail. English sailors invented rectangular sail. But Arab sail was triangular, all right? Triangular sail. So rectangular sail, wherever the wind blows, you can change the direction of the sail and you can go anywhere you wanted. So the ships went faster. But the Arabic sail is only triangular. So you couldn't turn it all the way around. So you had to wait for the right wind to go to the right direction that you wanted. So English sailors started to sail faster. So they won the race. Okay? They won the race. So they had commercial success. They could not travel through Mediterranean, so they had to sail alongside the West African coast to South Africa. And then from South Africa, they went to Indian Ocean and then to India. Beautiful place. But during the journey, they stopped at different harbors and they started selling the goods they were carrying in their ships and buying new goods, and in the next harbor, selling them again and buying new goods again. So they were earning money during their journey, okay? So, East and West, are they geographical or cultural? The concepts of East and West, are they geographical or cultural? I think they are cultural. All right? Where is East? Where is West? You can say that East is where the sun rises, correct? But where the sun rises, all right, if you live in American continent, the sun rises from the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, if you live in Japan, the sun rises from the Pacific Ocean. So where is East and where is West? Atlantic Ocean, for us, it's in the West. Okay? But for Americans, Atlantic Ocean is in the East. All right? So it's cultural. These are cultural concepts. Think about the world map. Where is Atlantic Ocean? In the middle. Yeah, in the middle. If the Atlantic Ocean is not in the middle and the Pacific Ocean is in the middle, America would have been in the East. Okay? So this is only, cultural. So, Orientalism. Have you heard of this term before, Orientalism? Orientalism? Yes, please.
Study of East from the West authors and
Exactly. Yeah. Studying East from the Western point of view and picturing the East and portraying the East from the Western point of view. So, camels, palm trees, things like that. These are all, or hammam, the image of hammams. These are all thought to be, Eastern all the time. So this is kind of an Orientalist vision. So Orientalist vision helped colonialism a lot. And in the next slide, what is culture? Let me talk about culture first, because I said that East and West are not geographical concepts, but they are cultural concepts. So when I talk about culture, what do I mean? What is it for you to have culture? What is culture for you? Any answer? Culture? Do you consider yourself as a cultural person? And if you do, what does it mean to be a cultural person? Yes, please.
From my point of view, being a cultural person is inevitable. You are, in all perspective, you will belong a culture.
Mm-hmm.
You have modern culture, and pop culture, or your own culture.
Yeah.
And for describing the word culture, I can say a set of values, norms, and beliefs which construct by the society.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So usually, let me say it in Turkish, kültürlü. What do we mean by a kültürlü person in Turkish? Çok kültürlü adam.
Actually, we say it's raised, yetişmiş.
Mm-hmm.
And the word culture coming from actually yetişmekten geliyor.
Right. Okay. So, çok kültürlü adam. That usually means someone who understands about cultures, someone who understands about arts, social issues, politics, history. But then, culture involves everything that we do, we speak, we wear, we eat in life. Everything that we listen to, all sorts of relationships in life. That is culture. But we can talk about high and low culture, high, popular, and folk culture, very general terms. High culture is usually intended to mean a kind of universal culture. But universal culture is usually shaped by Western culture. Okay? When I say classical music, what kind of music do you think of? What are the names that come to your mind when I say classical music? Everyone says so. Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, Brahms, Tchaikovsky. But these people are all Western European composers. Do we ever say Western classical music? No, everyone says classical music. Yeah? Classical comes from the class, belonging to a class, and this is classical. So we describe the Western music as classical music. All right? So it is shaped as the dominant universal culture, and it is called usually high culture. And the low cultures are the cultures outside that concept. All right? Outside that concept. Yeah? You know a tree? Yeah, a tree. No one describes a tree within the classical music. But Mozart is described in the classical music. They lived in the same age. They lived in the same century. So, three types of culture: high, popular, folk. High culture is always the dominant culture of the higher classes in each society. It doesn't usually change in time. Popular culture, on the other hand, is the type of culture, type of music, type of language, type of books which are popular, fashionable in a certain time. And popular culture may change. Okay? May change. Popular culture may change next year. Something may be fashionable next year again. But folk culture, on the other hand, belongs to the simple people, and folk culture does not change in time, but folk culture changes from one place to another, from one village to another, because it is folk. It belongs to the people, smaller communities. And next one. So first colonies. Europe describes itself as the high culture. All right? So they have a civilizing mission. They see it as a mission to go to other places and civilize those lands, those countries. There was a company, spice company. It was called East India Spice Company. Okay? So that's small spice, black pepper, okay, other sorts of spice. I don't know all the names of the spice. For even Turkish, I don't know the names of the spices. But a small spice in the tip of our fingers to put on our food. It changed history. Yeah, spice is very expensive. Yeah, how much is a pack of black pepper? 10 grams or 50 grams? Cheap? Is it really cheap?
No, not really.
Come on, must be expensive. Don't you know the price? I think it's expensive. Black pepper is very expensive. Okay, for a 50-gram package, I don't know what we pay. My wife knows, so I don't know. Okay. Sorry, I also don't know the price, but I think it's expensive. So think about 1,000 kilos. Think about 10,000 kilos, 30,000 kilos in a huge ship. Okay, there was no spice in Europe. There was no spice in Europe, but India was full of spices. So they went there, bought spice, and brought them back to England. Very profitable. Big money, big money, yeah? So East India Spice Company went to Bombay in India for the first time. This was in the 15th century, okay? 15th century. The same century when Arab civilization were expelled from Europe and the Turks were expelled from Vienna. The same century. So English people went to India, and when the other companies saw that East India Company earns a lot of money, other spice companies went to India too. So they had lots of offices in Bombay suddenly. In 10 years, 20 years, hundreds of spice companies in Bombay. So what did the English king do? Sent a governor to Bombay. A governor, because they have hundreds of companies there. So a governor went there, and the colonization of India started. Big place. In the same century, they started establishing churches everywhere. Churches in Africa, in the Caribbean, all right, Jamaica, Trinidad, those places, and India. Church means three things. Three things. The nuns in the churches are also very good nurses. Okay? All the nuns are also nurses. Yeah? So, when they go to a place and set up a church, these are missionary people. They stay there for a lifetime. So, when a child gets ill, they go to the church. They give them medicine, vaccination, so they find health. But who gives the health? Jesus Christ, the church. All right? So a church means three things: health, religion, language. You go to church, you have to speak English to talk about your illness. And they give you medicine so you get well, and there is Jesus Christ there. All right? That was very successful. They created a culture. So, in 1913, these are European colonies: Spain, Italy, France, Britain, Germany, Portugal, Belgium. All right? 1913, all African continent was colonized by European powers. And this is British Empire in 1921. Look at Britain. A very small place in the north, but they occupied all over the world. Okay? This is the British Empire. 1921. When was the Republic of Turkey founded? 1923. 1923. All right? This was in 1921, after the First World War. And birth of colonial literature. Yes, there were colonies, but I study literature. All right? I don't study politics. I don't study history, I study literature. All right? There was a colonial literature. How did it begin? It first began by adventure writing, because in the 17th century and the 18th century, there were travelers. All right? Travelers. The kingdom paid the travelers to travel around the world and write about them. Okay? Very nice job, isn't it? Someone pays you, your government pays you, and you travel around the world and you write about it. You write about it. Because that was an inspiration for colonies. They could learn what is there in the other parts of the world, what kind of mines, natural resources in the other parts of the world. All right? And there were adventure novels. For example, Robinson Crusoe. Everybody knows Robinson Crusoe. What happens in Robinson Crusoe? Even if you haven't read the novel, you know the story. Yes. He lives there. Yeah, he lives there. He's a sailor, and his ship sinks. All the other sailors die, and he finds himself on a deserted island. And on this deserted island, he lives on his own for 30 years on his own. So this is adventure. This is adventure part of it. But there is imperialism and colonialism in Robinson Crusoe. He finds a black man. What's the name of the black man? Very famous again. Friday. Does he ask his name? He doesn't even ask his name. He finds the black man and he gives him a name. You are Friday. This is colonialism. Because the colonizers go to a place and name a place. Okay? They name a place. So he finds a man. He doesn't even ask his name. You are Friday. And I am master. Friday, master. Okay? You see the relationship. Master, Friday. And he doesn't try to learn his language, but he teaches him English. So, after adventure writing, colonial writing started. In colonial writing, colonial literature is always written by the colonizer, white man. Yeah, colonial literature is always written by the white man, And colonial literature describes the colony all the time. It describes the colony. And people in the colonies are always other. They are other. They are drivers, cleaners, secondary characters all the time. They speak a very strange language. You cannot understand the language. The food they are eating is smelly. There's a lot of fat in it. All right, so much spice. And the clothes they are wearing are always strange. This is the description. Yeah? But when the colonies got their independence, yeah, most of the colonies, 90% of the colonies, got their independence in 1945 in the 20th century. 1945, 80 years ago. 1945, 81 years ago. And what happened was, when they got their independence, they started to go to England. Yeah, go to England. And in England, they started writing novels. Those novels are called post-colonial novels. Their language is not English, but they write in English. English is their second language, and they write in English. And in post-colonial writing, they changed the colonial literature, the logic of colonial literature. Now, the English people are secondary characters. Drivers, cleaners, shopkeepers are English people. And the Indian, African, Jamaican people are the main characters. They are the boss now. So post-colonial writing changes the thinking, changes the logic of the people. And characteristics of colonial writing and post-colonial writing, they have common characteristics. Post-colonial literature, from periphery to center. What is periphery? Periphery? Yes, please.
The outer space surrounding the object.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have a center here. Yeah. Periphery is out of the center. So this is the periphery of this stage, and I'm in the center of the stage. So post-colonial literature writes stories from the periphery to the center. In colonial literature, before post-colonial literature, in the colonial one, they talked about the peripheries. They were other, out there. Post-colonial literature takes them to the center, and the European people go to the periphery. Okay? The concept changes. Second, hybridity. We use this term for cars today, hybrid cars. What's a hybrid car? Hybrid car? Electricity and petrol together. Yeah? Hybrid. What is a hybrid person then? Do we use electricity and petrol for a hybrid person? Yes, please. Multinational. Yes, multinational. All right. Your pronunciation is also correct, but I speak the British pronunciation, but yours is correct. Multinational or multinational. Yeah, multinational. There are two kinds of hybridity. Yeah, the first kind of hybridity is biological, genetical hybridity. Yeah, your parents, one of your parents might be Turkish, and the other parent might be German, English, French, whatever. So you become genetically hybrid. All right? And there is also cultural hybridity. All right? Both of your parents might be Turkish, but suppose that you are born in Germany and you study in German schools. All of your friends are German, and you speak German outside, and you come home, you speak Turkish to your parents. So you become culturally hybrid. Is there anyone like that? Anybody? Whose family is in Germany? Raised in Germany? Nobody? Okay, you know that there are a lot of Turkish people in Germany, and their children are cultural hybrids. Cultural hybrids. So, in the post-colonial age, when colonial families went to London, let's say, or Manchester, so many places in England, their children became hybrid. At home, they have a different culture, and outside, there's another culture. Cultural collage. Collage is the mixture of colors, mixture of different materials. Cultural collage. Cultural clashes. Your cultures clash into one another. And multilingualism. In your daily life, you have different languages in your daily life. Yeah, you speak English outside, Turkish at home, or German outside, Turkish at home. Multilingualism and multiculturalism, of course. Yeah, London is full of doner kebab shops. Okay, it's London, but full of doner kebab shops. Multiculturalism, yeah, or Chinese restaurants everywhere, or Indian restaurants everywhere in London. Is Istanbul different? No. You can have breakfast in a McDonald's restaurant, have Italian pizza for lunch, and you can have, what's it called, that famous Japanese thing? Sushi in the evening. Isn't it possible to do it in Istanbul? 3 different cultures. Possible, yeah? Or lahmacun for evening. So many different cultures are mixed in this city. So, who are the colonial and post-colonial writers? Kipling, Rudyard Kipling, Forster, Edward Morgan Forster. These are colonial. Yeah? Before the independence, they wrote about India. Salman Rushdie, Hanif Kureishi, Arundhati Roy, Ben Okri, Sam Sullivan. These people are post-colonial. All right? They are not English. Some of them are Indian, some of them are African, some of them are Jamaican. Yeah, Sam Sullivan is from Trinidad. Okay? They are not English people, but they write their novels in English language. And this is the first immigrants, a picture of the first immigrants from the colonies to Britain. Okay? And this is one of the first ships that brought immigrants from the colonies. This ship was called Empire Windrush. Empire Windrush. So the people who came with this ship to England are called Windrush generation. Yeah, they are called Windrush generation. Thousands of people. Look at the crowd on the ship. Yeah? They don't have a place to sit on the ship. They come from far away, from Trinidad, Jamaica, all right, Caribbeans, to England, all Atlantic Ocean, without a place to sit. Windrush generation. Okay, you see? Another ship full of immigrants, and look at that, Liverpool. Yeah, they came to Liverpool. All right, so many people from the colonies to the imperialist center. But the next picture is different. Yeah, now this is the multiculturalism in London. You have Zamzam, Minicap, all right, El Halal fried chicken, Balti, Indian, and in the background you have a Chinese restaurant, so all of them are in London. This is another picture from London. Okay, you see different people from different cultures. And this is new. It happens on the Mediterranean, our age. Yeah. So the first picture, Windrush generation, they were coming from, in 1950s, they were coming from Trinidad, but here they may be coming from Syria, yeah, and on the Mediterranean. So the same kind of crowd. And, of course, again, on the Mediterranean, same kind of problems. And this is Istanbul, not London. Multiculturalism, yeah. And again, from Istanbul, probably Fatih, Zeytinburnu, somewhere over there, okay. Oh, that's it, I think. Yeah, this is the final picture that I am talking about. So, colonies were in the past, yeah, but post-colony is now. It means after the colony, all right? But now, all over the world, there are so many immigrants, and there is multiculturalism all over the world, even in Istanbul. But we are not a colony. This is not a post-colonial city. But we have multiculturalism because of immigration from all around the world. Okay, do you have any questions? Yes, please.
I think before we would call it multiculturalism, but now it turned into like globalization. What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, globalization is usually an economic term. Yeah? It's an economic ideology to spread the investments all over the world. But multiculturalism can happen in a single place. A combination of different cultures in the same city is called multiculturalism. But globalization, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, or Adidas shoes, they are everywhere. Starbucks, this is a result of globalization. So globalization is the result of capitalism. All right?
Like the world is turned into a village now, which everyone has the same culture.
Almost, yes. Because what I said a minute ago, you can have hamburger in the morning, lahmacun for lunch, pizza for dinner in the same city. And you can do this everywhere in the world now. It's like a global village. Okay? Yes, please.
As you can see, there are many Turkish expatriates back in Germany working and there are for many purposes. So I would like to take your thoughts on their stay here. Do you think the process has been well for the German and Turkish cultures to evolve? And would you think it would be more beneficial for the Turkish expatriates in Germany to stay there or perhaps to come back and give the Turkish nation a benefit?
Well, I'm an idealist person, so I want them to come back. Okay, if they are professionals, yeah, they are better for this country. Yeah, I'm an idealist person. But then, in that kind of thing, the relationship is always mutual. German culture takes something, learns something from them, and Turkish people also learn something from the local Germans. So the benefit is mutual. But for the benefit of my country, yeah, good, educated people should come back, in my opinion, because I'm an idealist person. Okay? I had a chance to stay in England. I did not. Okay? Now I'm here talking to you. I rejected. No, I never regretted that. I never regretted that. I can always travel. I never regret that. Yes, if there are no more questions, thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for this presentation and thank you for attending this discourse.
Şimdi hediye takdimi için okul müdürü Yusuf Erkul'u sahneye davet ediyoruz.
Okul müdürünüzü niye İngilizce davet etmiyorsunuz? Anlamayacağını mı düşünüyorsunuz? Gelirdik ya. Bak şimdi başlarım şakır şakır konuşmaya. Pekala. Gençler, şöyle, ben kıymetli hocamıza çok teşekkür ediyorum. Sizi de ilginizden dolayı tebrik ediyorum. Ancak teşekkürün bence bir büyüğünü de Gamze hocam hak etti. Gamze hocamın böyle bir arzusu, isteği oluştu. Bizler de özellikle akademik anlamda genelde çalışmalarımızı bu şekilde yürütüyoruz. Dersi müsait olan öğretmenlerimizin konu yetiştirme ihtiyacım var diyen öğretmenlerimizi hariç tutaraktan sınıflarımızı bu tür etkinliklere alacağız. Daha çok yapacağız, merak etmeyin. Yarın da bir sonraki haftalarda da böyle etkinliklerimiz olacak. Gamze hocam, emeğiniz çok büyük. Hediye takdimini beraber yapalım. O da sizde. Bunu da o zaman hocamıza takdim edelim birlikte. Hocam bunu takdim edelim hocamıza. Şey yapalım. Hocam telefon sizin mi? Gençler sizin. Tamam.
Ses. Programımız sona ermiştir. Sabırla dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ederiz.